An orphan received the best gift of her life. Mr. Michael and his friend John traveled to the town of Yosa to visit a friend of his. On their way back to the city, John drove, whilst Mr. Michael was seated in the passenger seat. Since they left their friend's house, Yosa was the topic of discussion. They admired the new construction building, the people, and their food. As the discussion went on, Mr. Michael surveyed the village with his eyes when he noticed a young girl seated in front of a mud house. Seated with a hand on her cheek, he could see sorrow written on her face. He quickly asked John to park the car immediately. Mr. Michael turned a deaf ear to John's questions. What happened? What is going on? He came out of the car and John followed him without any hesitation. The two walked straight to the girl. 19-year-old Victoria at first glance was frightened. No one had ever shown concern, let alone approach her. She was reluctant to answer their questions and thought they came to add more pain to her life. Mr. Michael refused to give up on her and knew something was wrong. After much persistence, she opened up to them and told them her story. According to her, she lost her parents in a motor accident, leaving her to fend for herself. Since she was the only child of her parents and lived in the house alone, her uncle decided to move into her parents' mansion with her. She was happy to have a father figure around her. Days passed into weeks, months, and years, and things started going downhill. She wondered if she had done something wrong until one fateful evening, her so-called uncle tried to molest her. She managed to escape from him, and that was the beginning of her frustration. Unfortunately, she was chased out of her own father's house without any food or her belongings. Taking refuge in a mud house was her only option. The day those two friends saw her was the day she was planning to give in to her uncle's request so she could live the life she once lived. She could not take it anymore. The two friends were astonished at the uncle's behavior. Mr. Michael brought out 2 bundles of money from his bag and gave them to her. Seeing the money, she fell on her knees and tears of joy filled her eyes. Mr. Michael gave her his complimentary card and told her not to hesitate to reach out to him about anything. "Thank you, sir," was a song in her mouth until the two friends drove off. Moral: never give up, no matter the situation and no matter how long it will take. Put your trust in God and He will send you your destiny helper.